On this day in history, June 2nd, 1098, as part of the First Crusade, the First Siege of Antioch ends as Crusader forces take the city. The second siege began 5 days later. Included in the following is an excerpt from the 1944 edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica, going over the city following the rise of Christianity. Antioch was an early home of Christianity, and its church became, in a special sense, the mother of the Gentile churches. After the fall of Jerusalem, it became the real metropolis of Christianity. It was the scene of the early evangelizing work of Paul and Barnabas, and the home church whence they set forth on their missionary journeys, and to which they returned to report results. Peter visited Antioch, and, basing its claim on a tradition that he remained there for a time as head of its church, Antioch was accorded by the Council of Nicaea the place of honor after Alexandria and Rome. It was at Antioch that the term Christian was first given to converts to the new faith. As some maintain in diversion, so well was Christianity received there by the end of the 4th century, its adherents were reckoned by Chrysostom at about 100,000. In 50 years, from 252 to 300 AD, as many as 10 assemblies of the church were held in Antioch. The favor shown by Julian to Jewish and pagan rites provoked the populace, and the closing of its great church of Constantine led to the burning down of the temple of Apollo at Daphne. Antiochene lampoons against Julian were countered by him in his satiric Apologia, still extant, called Misopogon, circa 362 AD. The church was reopened by his successor Valens, but shared the fate of the city when the Sassanid Khosrow I destroyed it in 538, and carried off part of the inhabitants to New Antioch in Assyria. The hermit Simeon Stylites lived on his pillar in the district, 40 miles east, at the beginning of the 5th century, and his body was brought to Antioch for burial. The Arabs took the city in 638 when they overran Syria, but Damascus made a greater appeal to them as a capital city, and as Damascus advanced, Antioch declined. It passed into the possession of the Crusaders in 1098 after a bitter siege of 9 months, at the end of which was hastened by an earthquake and betrayal. Assigned to Bohemond, Prince of Tarentum, it remained the capital of a Latin principality for nearly 2 centuries. In 1517 it passed into Turkish hands. It fell before the onslaught of the troops of Muhammad Ali of Egypt on their march towards Constantinople, 1840, but was restored to Turkish possession soon after. In October 1918 it was captured by the Egyptian Expeditionary Force. In 1920 by France under the League Mandate. In 1939, with the Hittite, it was ceded to Turkey.